And just into our newsroom tonight, the shooter's parents were being told are now being interviewed by police, and that 17-year-old student did start her day at school this morning. Remember, the shooting took place around 10:57 a.m. there in Madison, Wisconsin. Let's bring in Chris-Grollnek now. He's joining this conversation. He is one of the nation's leading experts on active shooters. He's also the founder of the Active Shooter Prevention Project. You bring a great deal of context to these, unfortunately, these stories as they unfold across the country. Thank you for being here. 17-year-old female student. How rare, how significant is that?
Well, the age gap is obviously right on time, just like Dr. Phil said, within the spectrum of what you would expect. Now, we know there's no known profile of an active shooter. However, they are traditionally, as he pointed out, white males between a certain age, between a certain demographic, etc. There's been approximately 5 female shooters in 25 years of active shooter history.
Wow.
The number might be a couple more or a couple, but it's not less, but it's definitely right around 5. And the reason you say that is because you have to catalog who are you going to include in that. Is it going to be people that are transitioning? Is it going to be others? And this is not defamatory against anybody. It's just female identified students. The number's 5. Mm-hmm. And it's so rare, it's not something that we look for, but it's something that we as a society have to prepare for. And more than just like it could happen.
I want to talk about, you heard Dr. Phil mention it, kind of hardening schools, right? Basically, you're really taking a focused look at what the school does to prevent this from happening. This is a small private Christian school, K through 12. I just heard a representative from the school say that there was actually 420 students at the school, 55 staff members. Are these smaller schools greater risk maybe for violence like this compared to a larger public school, or can you even quantify anything like that?
From a historical average, we're going back to 1999 Columbine, mm-hmm. and the reason we use that as our watershed moment, it's the first time we all watched it on the news live, and it brought us forward. In 26 years approximately, we've made the same mistakes over and over. And the smaller schools think that, I have a saying, it used to be, welcome to it will never happen here. And people are in denial that something tragic could happen because it's such a tight-knit community. And this Christian school, unlike any other school, would probably be no different. That said, there are things you can do to harden it, and the misnomer is a threat detection team or a threat assessment team will fix everything. 100% of the schools that have had shootings have had threat assessment teams. So it's not that the team is inefficient. It's what Dr. Phil said. They don't know what to do with the data once you have it. So to do a threat assessment along with a threat assessment team, and you incorporate other tools, mapping, digital scanning, AI through cameras, gunshot detection, minimal things. Mm-hmm. Not only can you reduce your insurance binder with a return on investment, but what's the return on regret? Not one family involved today would care how much it costs to do any of those things.
I want to get your reaction now because we heard from the police chief in Madison. He said this. Listen to this, and I'll get your reaction on the backside.
I'm not aware that the school has metal detectors, nor should schools have metal detectors. It's a school. It's a safe space.
So he's talking about metal detectors. He says, and we know now that the school does not have metal detectors. Your thoughts on his comment that schools shouldn't have metal detectors?
I think it's a double-edged sword. The police chief is responsible for a city. I'm a retired policeman. Mm-hmm. No one's a bigger fan of police than I am. However, if we have to do something to make ourselves not just feel better, but do something better, a metal detector is a great start. However, the problem is we have problems of backlogging students, creating a bottleneck of kids not being able to get through the door. And when 80% of the metal detectors in schools are not plugged in for the shootings that have happened with metal detectors, they don't work unless you use them. Same thing with policy and procedure. If we don't check people in and we don't check people out, we let some type of deficiency possibly happen.
The bottom line is no kid should ever worry about being shot at school. And no family should ever worry about being shot at church or while shopping. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in now. How do we prevent that?
So I was involved in an active shooter in real time in 2010. And in 2012, I was the 4th person in America to write my master's thesis on the phenomenon of active shooters. This isn't about me, it's about we. We have to stop the phenomenon of active shooters. And the first thing I want to do is retire tomorrow morning. Never to talk about this ever again. I think this is my 505th news segment. That's 505 too many. Yeah. Because we're inducing fear. We're invoking what Dr. Phil said, copycat syndromes. We need to focus on our families, our faith, really put down the lineage that we won't let this happen, and never here is a possible destination. That's where we need to go. And how to get there? Just follow simple procedures. I mean, everything I told you tonight, I don't represent or sell. We have free resources on the website. We don't sell information, gather it, or collect it. Just go get it. And it starts with a simple conversation. And that's the only reason I come do these interviews.
It's a simple conversation, and it's a very important conversation. Chris-Grollnek, thank you for being here tonight.
My heart's with the families. Thank you. Thank you.
Ours too. Thank you.